no idea what I'm doing here. What I wanted to do was remember someone to you. One of these two guys from this family photo. This chap here. Two great whatever, closely related to me's fought in the First World War. Horace was in the 17th Lancers, he was a private. Harry was a driver in the London Field for Artillery. And I thought what I'd do was bring some mementos, some coins, some medals, and a note. So, what I think I'm doing may well be numismatics. Studying things that signify value or commemorate. Coins, medals, tokens. Some of which are technically referred, I understand, to as odd or curious. The critics people, for instance, used horses as their principal currency unit and gave small change in lambskins. I'm told lambskins may be suitable for numismatic study, horses are not. And a coin's value to collectors generally depends on its condition, its historical significance, its rarity, its quality, and its popularity. And a coin greatly lacking any of these is unlikely to be worth very much. So I've done a catalogue, and it's a catalogue of coins and coinings. To coin, we invent or design a new word or a new phrase. Coin comes from the Old French for wedge, corner, mint, and die. To die is to stop living, to be forgotten. This is a George III shilling from 1816. To take the King's shilling was slang for joining the armed forces, earnest money to seal the bargain of recruitment. You exchanged it for a bounty that you used to equip yourself. A private's pay was a shilling a day, expected to cover all food and clothing. In 1847, a limit was placed on those deductions so that each soldier received at least a penny a day. Pip, Squeak and Wilfrid was a cartoon published in the Daily Mirror from 1919. Pip was a dog discovered begging on the Thames embankment by a policeman, sent to a dog's home and bought for £0.50. 2 shillings and 6pence. Squeak was a penguin from London Zoo, and Wilfrid was a rabbit with long ears adopted by Pip and Squeak. The charge of the Light Brigade was a failed military action against Russian forces in the Crimean War in 1854. It involved the 17th Lancers. The 17th Lancers would have taken the Queen's shilling, like this one, 1953. And this was the penny they would have been guaranteed. The 17th Lancers' motto, death or glory, is featured on a death's head badge on cap and collar. 670 men rode out that day, 118 were killed, 127 wounded, 6 taken prisoner, 335 horses were killed. More death than glory. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said, into the valley of death rode the 600. It wasn't 600, it was 670, but that doesn't scan. From 1879, the bounty for the Queen's shilling ceased. Instead, recruits were encouraged to keep their shilling for luck, and Kipling petitioned for a shilling kindly dropped into a little tambourine. Tennyson's The Charge of the Light Brigade happens to be the first and only poem I ever learned to recite at primary school. The Dickin Medal is the highest award any animal can receive while serving in military conflict for acts of bravery or devotion to duty. A large bronze medallion with "for gallantry" and "we also serve" in a laurel wreath. It's been awarded to 34 dogs, 32 pigeons, 4 horses and a cat. Horace and Harry would have taken the King's shilling again, and these pennies for a day of service in the First World War. The custom dictates that remembrance needs to be poetic. It is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. Greater love hath no man than this. He had done good towards God and toward his house, gave the most that man can give, life itself. The old contemptibles was the phrase coined for those British servicemen who served from 1914 or 1915, and they were awarded 3 medals. This is Horace's 1914 star, and the note that accompanied his British War Medal and his Victory Medal that would have been conferred had he lived in memory of his services. It's already been called the Great War in the note, and the Great War for Civilization, 1914 to 1919. On the medal, yes, 1919. These were distributed in 1921. An obedient servant, white-head lieutenant, the colonel in charge of these records, requested that you will be so good as to acknowledge the receipt of the decorations on the attack call. A memorial bronze plaque was sent to all next of kin personnel who were killed. Horace died, it says here, for freedom and honour, death, not glory. The name doesn't include the rank, sacrifice, knows no distinction. The plaque became known as the dead man's penny, and the medals became known as Pip, Squeak, and Wilfred. For the sacred cause of justice and the freedom of the world, we shall remember them, their name liveth forevermore. So I thought I would do something to commemorate of Horace with my mementos, my souvenirs, to bring him to remembrance. But something is odd and very curious. The badge on the cap and collar here and here points out that these are 16th Lancers. This man is not actually in that photo, and there's clearly no death or glory anywhere here. There's writing on the back of this, but it's football fixtures for the Pauls. None of these may be Horace or Harry. I have no idea. No idea who these men are. I have no idea what I've done here, but I will never forget.